The first 6 months of 2021 has been a half year packed with big venture funding rounds, mergers and acquisitions, and other important market moves that all together show how the current incarnation of the business automation market is really maturing quite fast. Here's an overview of some of the key events in the marketplace that have occurred between January and June, as we recently laid out in a report for our European Automation Research subscription service. As you can see, we've highlighted M&A, investments, and a handful of other interesting moves. Just to call out a few, in February 2021, RPA market maker UiPath scored a $750 million Series F funding round prior to going public in April, valuing the company at around $35 billion and taking its overall venture funding to around $2 billion. In March 2021, Camunda scored 100 million in venture funding. And Camunda is a Berlin-headquartered software and services provider specializing in business process automation. The company's got a strong open source heritage and targets technical developers focused on digitizing core revenue-generating business processes. Intelligent document processing and process intelligence specialist Abby announced in May 2021 it had taken a significant investment from PE firm Marlin Equity Partners, making it the largest Abby shareholder. In June 2021 saw another European-founded specialist firm, Celonis, raise a highly significant amount of venture funding, garnering $1 billion in a Series D round that delivered it a post-money valuation of $11 billion. Loads of investment activity. Now, looking at acquisitions and mergers, February 2021 saw SAP acquire Finnish no-code app development platform specialist AppGyver, and just a few weeks later it acquired German business process management and intelligence specialist Signavio. March 2021 saw UiPath acquire Cloud Elements, a specialist application integration tech provider with existing OEM relationships with SAP and others. ServiceNow acquired RPA specialist Intellibot in March 2021. And in recent years, ServiceNow's acquisitions have been primarily about boosting the functionality in its platform, rather than being primarily about deepening application functionality. And Intellibot continues the trend. April 2021 saw IBM dip more of its toes back in the waters of business process automation and management with the acquisition of Italian process mining and analytics specialist Mindvenio. Beyond M&A, there were some other really interesting moves as well, I think. James Denning, former VP of Europe at Automation Anywhere, was hired by process mining specialist Mineit as its new CEO. Automation Anywhere, meanwhile, made two key hires of its own, bringing in former Pluralsight CFO James Budge as its CFO, and former Salesforce Commerce Cloud and Community Cloud CEO Mike Micucci as COO. And last but not least, in April, Celonis announced a strategic partnership with IBM and Red Hat that sees Celonis committing to re-platform its process mining and EMS technologies on Red Hat OpenShift, and IBM's Global Business Services committing to providing consulting and implementation services around Celonis EMS. Now, that's a lot of stuff to cover, but let's zoom out. Looking at all these events together, I think a couple of trends become really clear. First is that the intelligent process automation market globally is undergoing major overall growth, much of it fueled by inorganic investment from venture funds and PE firms. And there's vendor consolidation happening in parallel. As I've mentioned before, there's a kind of battle royale that's playing out between vendors of complementary market categories in the intelligent process automation space, where vendors from different backgrounds are now racing to carve out roles for themselves as strategic orchestrators of ecosystems of specialist third-party AI and automation technologies. And you can see a lot of that through the stuff I've just talked through. And second is that as well as driving wider portfolios of products, this kind of ambition is also driving vendors to seek more senior level business engagement with prospects when they're selling. They're shifting from a heritage of selling to IT to really selling much more like business consultants. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, as always, please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you again very soon. Take care, everyone. Cheers.